Why are you talking?
Yeah, why?
Because like we've just spent.
Why?
What has it been, a month and some change since the season ended?
Yes.
Okay. Every single person, Steph Curry, Lacob,
It's been longer than that. It's been like a month and a half.
Dunleavy, Bob Myers, Draymond Green. Every guy associated with the team has brought up what? The energy around the team was horrible last year.
Dark cloud. That's the term. Dark cloud. That's what Steve Kerr said.
Okay? And everything that you've done is to eradicate the dark cloud or the chemistry issues that everyone, Larry Harris included, who we'll bring up his quote in a second regarding chemistry, everybody is trying to let last year be last year.
95.7 The Game.
I'm sorry. I hit that, and that probably triggered some people. Take the flag on that one. No breaking news yet. No breaking news.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe Chastain.
No, it's like every single person has referenced chemistry, and we got to be on the same page. And we need to move on from last year, and everything this year needs to be new. Because why? Because the sand is coming out of the hourglass, and we're trying to win a championship. We want to win our 5th championship. And then he has to bring this up. Why? Why is he talking?
That's the question. 888-957-9570. The only reason would be, right, to try to spin this in favor of him. But Poole's not talking about it. In fact, I have Jordan Poole here before we get to that Larry Harris sound. This was when, just the other week, with Summer League happening in Las Vegas, our own Anthony Slater, 95.7 The Game Warriors Insider here, and Anthony Slater of The Athletic covers the team, does a hell of a job, better than anyone out there. Here's him asking Poole about the punch, and this is how Poole responded.
We've been, much conversation about Draymond, going back to obviously the preseason incident. Even postseason, they were pretty adamant that they felt like it really impacted what went on last season. What is your just general perspective on how much of an impact the Draymond punch had on last season, and how is it left now with him and them?
Yeah, we're in Washington now. Playing with Poole is a great duo. Being able to really flourish, expand your game, and help, like I said, a new team, lead an entire group of guys. It's a challenge that we're up for. We got a new front office, and there's a lot of people that's invested. Everybody is locked in, wants to be here, start something that we can have that can be special.
We're in Washington now. That's basically what he's done this entire process. He's not talking about it. He's never going to talk about it. He's moving on.
No social media / billboard material.
Nope, none from Jordan Poole.
Now, two things can be true here. Jordan can be a very poor professional when it comes to his demeanor around the team when he's not playing or whatever, or just how he interacts with teammates. And then outwardly to the media, he can act very professional. So they can contradict each other.
Absolutely.
But in terms of how he's dealt with this outwardly toward the media, he's been pretty professional.
Absolutely. And here was Larry Harris, assistant GM of the Golden State Warriors, discussing this with ESPN. I believe it was Beth Mowens who's going to ask him the question here. But Larry Harris was at Summer League watching the Warriors, and he was on the broadcast with ESPN, and they asked him about last season. Take a listen.
Is there any worry or any adjustment? I know a lot of fans were talking a lot last year about the struggles on the road. Internally, do you do anything, or do you just, that's in the past, that's in the rear view window?
Yeah, you know what? I think you have to be honest with yourself that was a big concern. And I think that a lot of people alluded to that in the playoffs that we finally were eliminated. I don't think you can run from it. And I think one of the things, most importantly, I think it had a lot to do with our locker room was fractured. It was not, we're a strength in numbers. It's always been kind of our motto, what we go by, but we just did not have it. And I think that carried over on the road. I think we also played a little bit of, where there was some load management that went on, and then all of a sudden it just becomes it's your own worst enemy. We start 0-5 on the road, and we just never were able to get back to it. And sometimes you use it as a crutch, but I think this year I would be very surprised that you'll see us win 11 games on the road.
Larry Harris there, assistant GM of the Golden State Warriors, discussing, there was a fractured locker room last season. Now, they addressed that, right? They got rid of Jordan Poole. They moved him. They shipped him. They brought in Chris Paul. You got Draymond Green an extension. Everything's okay, right? So then why is Draymond Green still talking?
He's already won the war.
888-957-9570. Why is Draymond Green still discussing this? That's the question.
a lot of people are asking, like, have we ever considered, why Poole isn't talking? Is it maybe because he said something that is, you're unable to come back from, or he's the reason why? Even if he is the reason why, move on.
What does he have to gain from? No, seriously, what does Jordan Poole have to gain from talking about this?
What is the team trying to win their 5th championship with Chris Paul, which we all agree is a risk and a gamble, with Steph Curry, trying to fight off Father Time, and Klay Thompson trying to get an extension, and Draymond trying to win one more ring with this team? How does it help them bringing this back up again?
888-957-9. I don't know. Like, and this is the thing, and I alluded to this earlier. Are we sure, like, this whole locker room is all great after they moved on from Jordan Poole and traded him?
How do you think Kuminga's feeling?
How do you think Wiggins is feeling?
Oh, that's a good. I hadn't even thought about that.
He was tight with Jordan Poole. People forget that.
I haven't thought about that.
That's and how does, like, and I know Steph, Klay, Dre, they're all boys. They're all chopping it up in Vegas just a little while ago. I get it.
Well, there's a part of me that kind of is looking at Steph Curry.
Yeah, how are they viewing this? That's what I want to know.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. There's a part of me that's looking at Steph Curry, and I'm like, kind of with like my look over, like, get your guy in check, dude. If you guys are supposed to be so tight and so good, and talk about him and Draymond, if that's the guy you ride with, and every Dre fan is out here like, Steph swears by him. At some point, doesn't Steph got to look over and be like, hey, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Let it go. We need to move on. We need to worry about this year.
Yeah, $1.99 donated from Xavier W on the chat. Interesting that Kerr took Dre's side, not Jordan Poole. Interesting, I guess. But Kerr knows, like, he has to have the core threes back. Like, that they're the ones that helped him get the title. He helped them. That's fine. But those are his guys.
But what do you have to gain? Even if, let's say, they're all siding against Jordan Poole, the whole entire team, what does anyone have to gain from constantly bringing it up and crushing the kid on the way out the door? You won the war. He's gone.
He's gone.
You got the extension.
I guess, he has to talk about it because he must love the drama. He has his own podcast. He's on TNT. He loves to talk, Joe Shasky. Maybe it's as simple as that. 888-957-9570. Again, we've been discussing Draymond Green on Pat Bev's podcast. The whole thing's getting released today at some point. There was a little snippet last night and basically talking about the punches. Listen, something was said, basically. That was it.
But remember the week of the incident when he got suspended? Or whatever.
Didn't get suspended, and that's another thing.
Okay.
Should have been.
Mispractice.
Yes.
Didn't he say he wasn't in the right headspace?
Wasn't in the right state of mind, right? Wasn't in the right headspace for it. Didn't ever really, he just said I shouldn't have done that and stuff like that. But yeah, wasn't in the right state of mind. What does that even mean?
The more he brings it up, he's picking at the scab, and it's creating more blood.
Yeah,
let the scab heal.
Whatever analogy you want to use, picking at the scab, you're adding gasoline to the fire, fuel to the fire, everything about that. Like, it's just, he doesn't want it to die. That's what I gather from this. Does he not want this whole thing to die? Because if he doesn't, it's going to leak into the locker room next year, and then we're talking about it more and more, and then we're asking ourselves, why do we give this guy an extension? Well, if it's gonna linger through the locker room, because it might, if he keeps talking about it. I'm not convinced this dark cloud is fully lifted.
What do you mean by that?
Well, this fractured locker room, that Larry Harris, are we just supposed to assume that it's magically still unfractured? It's all gone because Jordan Poole's gone? Are we all going to just think that everyone, Kevon Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, they've all moved on from it? Do you believe that, Joe?
I don't know. I think it'll be in the back of
I think a lot
head.
of people think that just because they traded Jordan Poole, everything's fine now in that locker room.
Well, I know in my own life,
888-957-9570.
In my own life, I know that when I would make do dumb things, even after years of trying to change, you know what people say? There he goes again.
Yeah.
He's doing it. He's reverting back. Right? Everybody thinks you're going to revert back to your worst version. Like, that's human nature.
Yeah.
So many times in life, right? I'm in my 40s now, and so you'll see people like you run into one of your friends from back in the day, and they were kind of a lowlife or a scumbag 20 years ago, but they've really cleaned themselves up and they've changed. And you know what? The majority of people still talk about them the way they were 20 years ago, fair or not.
No.
And it sucks. And I'm like, no, that person's actually way different than what they were 20 years ago.
But people
they've grown.
But again,
or devolved.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the narrative surrounding Draymond Green and his career moving forward is, because he's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He really has. Let's get to out to the phone lines here.
Yeah, let's hit 'em.
957-9570. Clay is out in Fremont, wants to join the Morning Roast with Spadoni and Chasky. What's going on, Clay?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I honestly believe that this Jordan Poole situation is not going to go away going into the season. I think, especially if the Warriors have a successful season going forward, people are going to start asking what was different. I think the most glaring, obvious aspect that's different from the season is the fact that Jordan Poole is gone, and they're going to leverage that as much as possible. The media is going to go crazy over it. Jordan Poole might even have an answer at some point in the season and start having a stretch where he drops 40, 50 points a game just out of frustration. Call me crazy. That would be wild to watch. But, yeah, I definitely don't think we're going to hear the last of this for a while. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Clay. Appreciate you chiming in. Let's go to Coach Hall out in San Diego. Wants to join the chat right here on 95.7 The Game. Coach Hall, you're on the Morning Roast. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm really not trying to like doodle on Draymond, but when you think about the return on your investment, okay, we've gotten rings, but let's not forget he was unplayable against Boston. He was dang near unplayable because of his attitude against Sacramento. How many games have we lost because he's gotten the technical within the last 2 minutes, and the other team got 4 free throws? I count 3 over the past 2 seasons. Getting KD out of here, the button of heads with Kerr. Like, man, sometimes I just feel like less is more, and I just really feel like Kuminga, maybe Moody, and even Looney. They might have a side eye. I'm kind of with you, Shasky. They might be looking at him with a side eye. Like, I don't think that dark cloud is going anywhere until either Draymond really addresses it and learns from his behavior, or we get him up out of here. So, just want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Appreciate you, Coach Hall. That's interesting. Draymond Green is the dark cloud. It wasn't the punch itself. It's Draymond Green, Joe Shasky, is the dark cloud. And he's going to have to do some self-reflection and do whatever he needs to do to get that dissipated and turn into a nice, beautiful, sunny sky. But I don't know if that's going to be on the horizon for this team. And then you're adding Chris Paul to all this. I don't even know.
What did I say today they acquired Chris Paul?
What'd you say?
I said, him and Dre are going to have at least one moment. I don't know what that moment's going to look like, but it's coming.
I'm so excited for this next season.
You excited?
I'm so excited because there's just going to be so much to talk about. We got football coming up next week. We got rookies reporting. We got. I know it's a couple months away from basketball, but the sports calendar is really going to start heating up here in the next coming months, and I'm excited for it. I am.
It's funny that everyone's like, "You're triggered." No, they were triggered last year to the point they were so triggered they can't stop talking about it. Everyone, GM, coach, former GM, owner, players.
Draymond's triggered. He keeps talking about it.
Everyone.
Why?
And all they talk about is toxicity in the locker room.
System of a Down, toxicity right there. Let's go. Jada Snacks on the chat. Spadoni knows it all. N-O-S-E. I do. I have a schnoz. It's all right. Italian stallion. The nose is real, and it's spectacular. 888-957-9570 is the number. Why is Draymond Green continuing to talk? This is the soundbite that we are reacting to this morning. And again, we have Gabe Kapler. Hour from now, 8:30, San Francisco Giants manager. They've won 7 straight. They are exciting. They're hot. They're en fuego. Wilmer Flores, my guy, 2 home runs yesterday.
Should we ask him how he diffused the Jock Tommy Pham fight?
Hey, you want to? Ask him. Seriously. It happened in Cincinnati, didn't it?
I mean,
it's just, but that's a good point. How they handled this early on, and I know we're going back and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but again, it just goes back to how they should have handled this. If they suspended him for ring night or for 2 games for that matter, I think that does send a message.
I don't know.
You don't think so? I think it at least sends a message to Jordan Poole. Maybe the chemistry is better on the court with everyone. Maybe Jordan Poole finally follows himself in line and has not a Renaissance type season, but has a season where he can build from a championship type of year instead of not knowing his role, feeling unsure, undecided. My teammates don't trust me. My front office clearly doesn't trust me because they didn't suspend this guy. They had this guy's back even though they punched me. I think it would have sent a message to the locker room. Hindsight's always 20/20, but it is what it is at this point. They made their bed. They lied in it. They didn't go back to back. And now they're going to try to do it again with Chris Paul in the locker room.